Hey everyone, Mature Simmer here. So, welcome back. In the time between when I've seen you last, I have sold some more pigs. So we had gotten some pigs to maturity, but other than that, no other work on the farm has happened. It's been very quiet. I am making the assumption that things are ready, and they do look that way. So I think at this point I can hop out and connect up and get myself ready to get going. As Rafiki so poignantly said, "It is time." So we will do this and do it the right way, right? It's the goal anyway. I tend to always find a way to do it the wrong way, so we'll see how this goes. Like, not even sure I got a really great line there because I realized I was kind of turning, but at this point I can't really use the line anyway. Alright, what did I plant? Wheat. That's right, wheat. Oops. Didn't hook up the PTO yet. Hard to get things going. Come on. There we go. That's better. Just making sure we don't have straw on, because I don't need that. Alright, here we go. So, get this done. I do not need to store this crop, so I can go ahead and sell this. I had talked about the oats I had done a few years ago. Seasons, years, whatever you want to call it. I'm fumbling over what I want to say. So, I'll probably run 2 crops over for sale. Just a question again of will I do it in-game, or will I go ahead and run them to customs? If it's close, if it's within like 50 a liter or something, I'll probably just do it in-game. It just tends to usually be 200 or 300 difference, and it's hard to justify going ahead and doing that, so... So, other developments on the server. We've had auctions come and go with no impact. 34 came and went. I don't believe anyone actually bid on that I saw. But 39 has come up, but there is interest by another FM. And as I've said, if that's the case, I'm likely not going to push it at all. And I'm not. I've already kind of let them know, hey, if nobody was interested, I'd have picked it up, but since you are, enjoy. And they've already got a bid in, so it will be theirs, unless other FMs decide to fight about it. So that's JP, who's up on Field 12, and obviously Field 39 works great for him because it's right next door. So that's the one that we can see to the right coming up in the corner. It's the little tiny one outside the end of my driveway. So... I am now surrounded. The only one I really don't have is this field straight ahead of me that someone has bought. But, for getting in and out of my main yard at this point and then going somewhere, I'm just going to have to be a little bit more careful at times, because I've certainly gone into that field, especially like when I've come out of my drive to go turn around, given myself a little more room. I might have to like come down here or head north to my field, depending on which side I haven't harvested, and and do that. So, all right, let me see. So if I go this way, well, this might actually be okay, but my guess is I'm still going to have pieces up at the other end. I didn't realize I had the header down. I swear I was going pretty quick. Obviously I was not, but I noticed it before I caused any damage. But, you know, there isn't a large angle here, but it's certainly large enough because of the length of the field that, yes, I'm probably going to have to fix some things on the other end. But it's okay, because I'm not even sure I'll be able to make it all the way to the other end. Well, I should be, actually, now that I think about it, because I'm not doing a full row, because I was going to say I was over 50% just getting down here. So that is the one thing I do recall, is wheat has a pretty plentiful yield. So it will be pretty nice as far as the quantity, but therefore it obviously sells for a depressed price compared to something else like, say, oats or whatever, that I don't think is as plentiful. So yeah, the question is, I'm almost feeling like I've seen this movie before, where I'm going to go in here thinking, oh yeah, I'll get out before the end of the field, and then I'm going to suddenly find out, like, just after I clear the trees, that no, I'm not even going to get close, and then I need to cut my way out, or I need to back all the way up. But at this point I'm in here, so I guess we'll give it a shot. I don't know, it might work. It's going to be really, really close. My guess is I'm going to get within like 10 feet, 20 feet of the edge, and I'm going to be full. Because that's just my luck all the time. Because, yeah, I'm already at 90, and I was at like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to make it. It's literally going to be like right there. Disappointing. But, yeah, at this point, I'm going to cut my losses. I know I'm not going to make it. I'm barely going to make it out of here. So, but I did. But yes, 18,000 is where it goes, zeroes out, so you can see how close I was. Now that the harvester's not here, okay. I was going to say I should be able to just make the turn. Normally, if I do that, I have to reverse because the turning radius on this truck is not that tight, so always have to pull through and back up a bit, but almost did anyway. The post to the building almost got to be a problem, but made it. So obviously left this out here, I think. Maybe it wasn't on any video, but obviously after my pig feed, or pig feeding at one point, I just left it here to make it easier, knowing that I would likely need it for harvest, and if I didn't, I'd have it here anyway, so. Alright, I think I'm going to go this way, because I'll just back into my spot again, and then finish that row of amber waves of grain, as we'd call it here, right? Although, well, I'll do what I can, but I think I'm going to end up, well, it'll be over the crop, so I'll be alright, because I'm like, it's going to be a bit of a challenge to really get myself back in there, because of the way I came out. What? Why did it stop? Oh, I know why. Fill limiter. So, gets me every time. Alright. So now we're good. You know, it's like you're pressing buttons, you're doing things, and suddenly there's this little wave of panic that goes over you, like, what did I do? Alright. So now I can, whoops, it's more than I need, but it works. Get us lined up. It might have knocked a bit. No, I guess it gave it to me. I say I might have taken out a couple stalks of wheat there, backing up with the header down, but I don't think so. Oh yeah, I didn't realize the path I was on. I would have never made it. I just thought I was really headed cleanly for that other piece there, but obviously I'm not. What is happening? It's not really stuck that much, so as far as the lag that I can see. So Nick's on this morning as well, so we've just greeted each other with a good morning, but time right now is pretty accurate. It's a little later than that in real time, but not much, so synced up within reason, I think within 20 or 30 minutes. Alright, so now we'll come around, we'll get this cleaned up, we'll get going up the hill while we have horsepower to dedicate to that rather than putting the implement down. So I'm going to actually have some more pieces to clean up, so this really cuts over faster. You'd think I'd like remember it in its entirety, but it's alright. I mean, it's still nice to at least be able to come from the other side of that field and mainly harvest, but I could almost easily line up. You know, probably the smart thing would be to line up on the, just turn around where I had come out, line up, and then have been coming across really here, and then just have that little bit to fix, and then I can start doing things instead of having this fix up here in the center, which honestly doesn't matter much, but so yeah, as I go back to the field to 39, you know, one of the reasons, because I certainly could have raised the question to JP, hey, I kind of really wanted that. I'm pretty sure if I asked, he'd be like, sure, take it. Because he knows there's other fields coming up, and you know, obviously it's not as if I've expanded quite a bit or anything, but realistically, time-wise, I think it would be one of those, and I had talked about this even if I picked it up, or even if I had picked up Field 8. Like, I'm in a good spot, I think, where I'm at, because of the other single-player series I enjoy once in a while and so forth. So I think I would have regretted going ahead and getting that. So as I said, it's a little easier, if nobody wanted it, to have basically gone ahead and said, alright, I'll pick it up, and if I use it, I use it, if I don't, I don't. But it would feel really wasteful, and you know, I might, if I was in their shoes, feel a little resentful, like, he bought this thing, he's not, you know, even using it, and it would have been really nice for me, and so forth, so that's the main reason that I'm just like, yeah, somebody wants it, go for it. Where I think with 8, I was in a little bit different space, where it was kind of like, yeah, I'll do it. I mean, it also, at that point, I think mentally in my mind had a dual purpose, because it was also going to be my driveway, basically. So it wasn't, you know, it was like I had a reason for that outside of, yeah, I might plant grass and then add some cattle or switch to cattle or whatever. So that's where we're at. I mean, but even as I'm doing it, I'm thinking about, I'm like, well, I could plant grass in the middle, and you know, put a cow shed somewhere, you know, a little one, and just run a tiny field of grass. But again, I think all that effort and all the stuff I'd need to do TMR to just run a tiny cattle operation in this scenario where it's all real time and so forth, I don't think it would make sense. I mean, I'd be buying all that equipment, and my actual return on it would be horrendous. Because at that point, I was like, oh, I could put the cattle barn like in that little indent in the field, which then would honestly irritate the heck out of me when I was harvesting. So never mind. Sometimes it's good things don't work out, because I always find I'm my own worst enemy with Farming Simulator. Sometimes I just get that, I feel like I should be more ambitious with it at times, and I just need to understand. It's a pastime, it's a sim like any of us are doing. It's not my life, and I need to stop feeling like it's my job or something, and so I should always be aspiring to do more and more and more. Sometimes it's just enough. So, in theory, we'll see how things go, but the FMs have asked me earlier if I've heard anything on precision farming. So in my role of representing them to FSN management, I did ask the question, and I have been told that this coming weekend, mayors are going to start getting contacted about precision farming on their servers. So that is, oh boy, that's never good. Alright, well, interestingly enough, I seem to be back right where I was, which is nice, because I was expecting when I got back in that I would maybe have to redo some things, but it doesn't look like it. I did see 0 connected. I had sent Nick a note asking him when I was out if he got bumped as well. Now when I tried to reconnect, it showed 0 people on the server, so I'm guessing he did. So yeah, lots of fun. I don't think, oh boy. Oh no, I'm not doing, this is just, I was worried about the fact that I wasn't in the right place, and I'm not, and now I ran over some crop. I swear I don't think I can remember the last time I've had a harvest where I haven't run over crop at some point. It is just such a challenge for me. I would like to say it's just such a challenge in Farming Simulator, but I don't want to be that bold and assume that everyone's as inept as me. I don't know. I mean, I guess if I was just a lot more deliberate, but then the problem would be it just would be taking a lot longer time. I don't know. Okay, I need to fix that, because I'm like, I cannot speed up. That's because I'm not connected, so that will slow things down. Obviously on my harvester it had maintained the connection, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to harvest at all, because the PTO wouldn't have been connected and the header would not have been spinning. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and clean this up, because I thought I had locked myself onto the track, and obviously I had not. Alright, so I had just popped out, and Nick did say he in fact had gotten booted. I haven't seen him reconnect here unless we both got on. Nope. I would see that Nickum has joined the server, so. And it might be one of those things. He may be at a time where he has to leave, and so he may have just said, well, I've gotten booted, I'm not going to go ahead, because especially if you know someone's on the server, you know there's that little bit of delay where basically as he's going to join, we're going to get stuck, and interesting. So it was working. that is the strangest thing, because obviously you saw me harvesting, so the PTO was fine. Alright, okay. Now I was like, wait a minute, is it gonna snap to the line I had? But it's not. So, you obviously saw me finish harvesting there when I came back on, and I guess I did that without the PTO connected, so interesting farming simulator happenings. But because then when I tried to make it turn on again with the B key, it didn't operate, because it was like, well, you're not connected, you don't have your PTO set up. So wonderfully entertaining. So yeah, stuff like that, it just like throws you off. Because we're chatting away, and then suddenly it just like, get off the server. Not really fun. So yeah, I think I was chatting about Field 39 there, and just the fact that being my own worst enemy, and maybe running a little cow operation, and how that wouldn't make sense, because I would have to invest again in mowers and tedders and forage wagons to pick the grass up, and TMR mixers, and there's a lot of investment that would go into it. So it kind of becomes like I'm either doing it or I'm not. So if I had gotten that field, I would have put a decent sized cow barn just in the center, and then gone ahead and made that investment. But I'm assuming that would be a 500 cow barn or something that ultimately would be producing a lot of milk and so forth. Or if I put in something that's 30 cows or something, like, the investment isn't any less in equipment. The only thing that would be smaller would be the amount of grass I would need and so forth. So in theory, I could make do with it. Now, I mean, the other thing I can do is I could basically convert part of, half of my field here, whether it's the north half or the south half, and turn that into grass. That would be way more grass than I had, but I'd be able to absolutely support a dairy operation at that point. So I don't know. Maybe that's, if I do that, maybe that's the best way. Alright, so we've got Nick joining in. Alright, I'm back and moving again. It took a good 30 seconds to a minute for him to sync up, which is kind of normal. But now we're both on. Hopefully we'll both be able to stay on as long as we hope to do it. I'm thinking I should be able to just kind of keep plowing ahead with the harvest here. But yeah, if I, maybe I mull over doing that with the cows, because, that would let me do it, and it would frankly make this field kind of permanently used in its entirety, because I'm always having some grass growing and whatever. It just becomes, will it be too much? Because it's going to be a lot of grass. I don't know. I mean, I don't have to do the whole thing. I could always, like, cut pieces of it. I don't know. But that gives me some flexibility, and then at least I'm not telling people, hey, I want to buy more. Because in reality, now that I think about it, again, that would be potentially an argument that someone could make to me. Like, why do you need Field 39? You're not using all of Field 9 at the same time. Like, you've got land you can do what you want on. And I'd be hard-pressed to argue with them at that point. So I guess I'm glad I thought about it myself. So, maybe I'm being pushed in a direction that makes more sense. You know, everyone can be happy because they're expanding where they want to expand, and I could expand my operations per se, and that I'm doing a little bit more. Because as I said, right now, you know, the pigs take a little bit of time, but they certainly don't take a ton. And you know, the challenge, I guess, would be is I do know from running a TMR mixer in FS22 in another game that I'm doing, you do need mineral feed for the TMR mixers to work, and I guess that would be the thing. I'm gonna have to look. I don't think we have TMR mixers in FSN. That actually would be my main deciding factor now that I think about it, because I am not going to use a TMR wagon. Done that too. And whoop, there we go, running into crop again. So this is exactly why I have the problem, is I'm thinking about something else. If I wasn't talking to you, I'd be daydreaming about my cows anyway. So don't feel like, oh, I never run into crop off camera, because I do. So yeah, it's not you, it's me. So at least I feel a little bit better. Like if it wasn't like, because sometimes for a while I'm like, if I just had been paying a little more attention there, I think this would have been the time I finally would have harvested the field without an error. It only took one more harvester load to cause a problem. Gonna go ahead and get this truck out of the way. So yeah, now I've gotten inside my head and kind of thinking, yeah, do I want to do that with the cows? I don't know. I need to not make these decisions like in the spur of the moment when they come to me. I need to mull over it, because, well, I mean, again, it's not like it's irreversible if I suddenly decided. Obviously, I just plow under the grass again and turn it back into field like I had before, but I don't know. I'll think about it. But at this point, I think again, we're at the point we get to every time we're together, where I've gotten you current on what's happening. You've gotten to tag along for quite a good portion of the start of whatever I'm doing. So as I sit there and create my amber waves of grain from the back of my harvester, just waving back and forth, aren't I funny? I think that will do it, so I will go ahead and keep at it. Probably will take me a couple hours to get the field done, and I'll see you at the end. Alright, so I was unable to touch the field yesterday, and now I've run into the problem that I forgot about, which is my silo is full. So I was able to get one trailer load and then a partial one in, and that was it. So I've gone ahead, and so it's barley and wheat that can be sold. So it's barley and wheat that I can put up for sale. Both of them are about 350 on the server right now, and they're over 500 on direct sell. So I really would kind of be foolish not to direct sell. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to move the barley right now, and so I'm going to do this. I'm then going to dump the back wheat in there and then fill it with barley. And so I've got 476,555 liters of barley. that I did last time, and that's what I was worried about. That you know, and so if I can get that to market, all right, there we go. Oops. So let me dump that in. That will now work. But yeah, I can get the barley to market. The question's going to be, you know, is there enough room then for the wheat? But if not, I can always I got to be close at that point. So I'm going to need basically 5 trailers and then most of a 1/6. So I've got to run 6 loads of barley, and then you know, place my order out there to have it sold, and then that'll be it. So I'm going to divert a little bit and get that done, and then I'll get back to my wheat harvest, and hopefully it'll be uneventful after that, and I'll just get it done, and I'll be back at the end like I was planning the first time. So I'll see you in a bit. Alright, so this is the last load off the field. Took a bit. So 432,484. Now I am running pretty late, so I am going to just leave stuff here. And starting in the winter, I'm going to be doing a little bit of clearing. I've decided on that. So once we go ahead and get into that, certainly we'll be showing you what's happening. But I'll see you next time.